This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Nick George.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Today we have the great pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Megan Mueller with Ozzie's Body Shop. Megan, how's it going today?
Hey, Nick. I'm doing great. I really appreciate you having me on today.
No problem. Glad you're here. Tell us all about Ozzie's Body Shop.
Okay. Where to start? So Ozzie's has been located here in Loveland since 1967. We used to be down kind of South Loveland, down by the old fairgrounds, and moved to our current location in 2001, which is on North 287. So kind of North Loveland, very, very South Fort Collins. So just a nice central location for a lot of our Northern Colorado community.
Tell us how you got into this business and why is it called Ozzie?
Okay. Well, I grew up in it. So it's called Ozzie's. The original owner, Ozzie, was the one that started it in 1967. And then my dad was actually a painter for him in the late 70s and early 80s. At the time, there were 5 employees when Ozzie was ready to retire. And my dad and 3 others went ahead and bought it together. Slowly over about 15 years or so, my dad became the sole owner, and I left my career in 2017 and came down full time, but had handled some marketing and some behind the scenes stuff for years before that.
And did you have any experience in the automotive world before you decided to take over this position?
Yeah, other than just kind of growing up in it. Not necessarily, but, I had always been in the garage working with my dad. He called me the boy of his 3 girls. And so, just spent a lot of time out there with him and was in a lot of the parades growing up, that sort of thing. Now my boys get to be a part of that, which is a lot of fun. And when I left my career, came down full time and slowly just started learning the business from all aspects internally.
What are some myths or misconceptions in the body shop world that you'd like to dispel or that your customers are easily dispelled by once they get to know you?
Absolutely. I would say just 2. The first one is how incredibly complicated collision repair is these days. Vehicles are made now out of many different metal substrates depending on where they are on the vehicle. There's even, aluminum structural parts. There are carbon fiber structural parts. It's very complex. And with the automatic driving systems these days, millimeters matter. With the airbag timing, millimeters matter. So I actually come from dental is where my career was before I came down here full time. And it blows my mind because when you're thinking about teeth, you measure everything in millimeters. And to do that and on a vehicle, right? You compare a tooth to the size of a vehicle, and to know that airbag timing is not going to be the same if it's not within this certain spec of millimeters is a very intimidating task to take on. So there's just so much more complexity to doing a proper repair. And that, I guess, what scares me with our industry is the fact that you don't actually, to be a technician, there's no certification or training required. So over in Europe, you have to actually go and get a degree to be able to repair vehicles. And here in the States, you don't have to. You can just be anybody and you can repair these vehicles, even as complex as they are now. So continuing education, training, certifications, that kind of stuff, finding technicians that are really putting time into the continuing education with how quickly the vehicles are changing is of the utmost importance. And then, fallacy number 2, I would say is it used to be that a lot of like the partner shops between insurance companies or like the recommended shops were often the ones that were doing the quality, were doing the training, we're investing in equipment. Those were the ones that the insurance companies would often recommend. And that is still true with some companies. However, a lot of other ones have chosen to go the route of where they can save the most And those companies, if they're offering the work for a lot less expensive, are probably not investing in all of that training and the equipment.
Outside of podcasting, what are the ways that you're reaching out to your customers digitally right now so that they know that you're out there?
Digitally, we can certainly be found on our website at www.ozziesbodyshop.com. Otherwise, I'm not really of the techie world, if I'm honest, but you can find us on YouTube. We've got some videos there. We are also on Facebook, Instagram, and really hoping to expand into the podcast department.
And it looks like Ozzie's Body Shop is the best way to find you on all those platforms right now?
Yes.
Awesome. So I can't remember if we talked about whether or not I'm allowed to ask this question or not before we started the podcast, but I'm just going to be candid and ask it. Is there a hardship or a life challenge or a struggle that you went through in your life that made you so resilient about perfection and making this business something spectacular? I
love that question. Hardship. I would say a lot of those qualities are just instilled from my father. It's what he built the company on, and what I'm trying to build upon as well. Even though we're taking it, we've had to adapt to the times, as all businesses do, especially when you're around for 60 years. And so adapting from the kind of insurance world over to the certified collision world has been a really big challenge. As far as personally, I've always just been a nerd when it comes to education and everything, and to see some of the things that I've seen in this industry, I am pushing really hard for the industry as a whole to have higher standards and higher values. So I actually am the president of the Mountain States Collision Repair Association, and we represent Colorado and Utah independent shops that are really just trying to do the right thing and hopefully, advocate for consumers, because a lot of people have no idea what happens throughout the course of a repair.
What do you want people to take away from this interview? What is the most important thing you'd like for them to take away from this interview about you, Megan, and Ozzie's Body Shop and what it represents in the industry?
That I really believe that we are a shop that works for the vehicle owner. We don't answer to anybody else. We do work with all insurance companies, but we don't work for them. We repair the vehicles the way that the manufacturers want them repaired, and which I believe is in the vehicle owner's best interest. And we just, every single person down here has I believe, a higher level of expectation as far as what needs to be done before that vehicle goes back out on the road and a family gets in it.
Well, Megan, we really appreciate you being on our show, and we definitely wish you and Ozzie's Body Shop the very best moving forward.
Thank you, Nick. It was a pleasure. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpfortcollins.com. That's gnpfortcollins.com. Or call 970-438-0825.